Disaster is coming to Manchester United, and it's arriving faster than anyone expected. This winter, Ruben Amorim could lose 5 key first-team players, not just because of AFCON, but through suspensions that could hit at the worst possible moment. Mbeumo, Ahmad, Mazraoui, all gone. Casemiro and Dorgu, one more yellow card, and they're out. And with United slipping down to 10th place, winless in over a month, and facing Crystal Palace next, Amorim's season could collapse in just a few weeks. Manchester United's ranks will soon be affected by the Africa Cup of Nations, and that's not the only factor that threatens to limit Ruben Amorim's options in the near future. Ruben Amorim looks set to lose 3 regular starters at Manchester United as the Africa Cup of Nations comes calling. But the Red Devils are also at risk of losing another 2 first-team stars in their upcoming matches. Bryan Mbeumo, Amad Diallo and Nasser Mazraoui each look destined for AFCON selection and will soon take a leave of absence. As if that didn't hamper the manager's selection enough, United's discipline, or lack thereof, could take another 2 players out of action. Elsewhere, the club appears to have identified its preferred target to replace Casemiro should the Brazilian leave this summer. Mirror Football delves into the latest headlines around Old Trafford ahead of Sunday's Premier League trip to Crystal Palace. As if the impending exodus of AFCON-eligible players wasn't bad enough, suspensions could be incoming for both Casemiro and Patrick Dorgu. Each of the pair are just one caution away from meeting the 5 booking threshold that would incur a 1-game ban in each case. United, who sit 10th in the Premier League at present, could do with all the resources they can muster for a tough winter schedule. And it means both Casemiro and Dorgu will need to be on their best behavior at Selhurst Park this weekend. Casemiro has already been out due to suspension this season after he was sent off in the 2-1 win over Chelsea back in September. But the Brazilian could be set for another brief spell on the sidelines if he gets booked just once more across the next 7 Premier League fixtures, and it may influence Amorim's selection for what's shaping up to be a very difficult trip to South London. Palace are undefeated in 3 and sit 5th, while United have gone more than a month without a win and slipped down to mid-table. On one hand, United's chief may prefer his players get booked sooner rather than later in order to get their suspensions out of the way before the AFCON exodus. On the other, he'll want to preserve their disciplinary record for as long as possible in the hopes either Casemiro nor Dorgu hit the 5-card limit. One of the major transfer stories developing at United concerns Casemiro, whose contract at Old Trafford expires next summer. And although the club retains the option to extend his stay by another 12 months, rumors have emerged touting Conor Gallagher as his preferred replacement. That storyline is now gathering pace after AS reported Amorim's side are at the head of the queue to land the Atletico Madrid midfielder. Gallagher, 25, was all but indispensable during his debut season under Diego Simeone last term but has since taken a back seat in recent months. The former Chelsea and Crystal Palace talisman has started just 5 games across all competitions so far this season. Atletico signed the player for a bargain fee of only £34 million almost 18 months ago, though it's thought the Spanish giants would demand closer to £50 million if they're to sell up in 2026. Gallagher, who is supposedly not satisfied with his bit-part role at Atleti, would also come with added benefit that he would contribute towards United's quota of homegrown players. And he could even help get a little more out of former Chelsea comrade and fellow Blues Academy graduate Mason Mount. There are understood to be concerns at United regarding the club's over-reliance on midfield stars like Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. However, a Premier League comeback for Gallagher could give the squad a new all-action alternative fit for the role.